Hello and welcome to the award-winning Bowie Youth Showcase. I'm Kashara C. If you knew you were capable of greatness, what would you do tomorrow? When we return, you will meet the writer and director of the play, Boxes. Sit tight, we will be right back with our guests. Hello and welcome to the Bowie Youth Showcase. I'm Kashara C. Today on the Bowie Youth Showcase, we will give our viewers behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to put on a successful play. Boxes, the play, was recently featured at the Bowie Center for the Performing Arts as part of their Local Artist Series. This play highlights local talent from all parts of Prince George's County. They have created an innovating and entertaining way to tell these stories so that the audience can be inspired but will also relate to the stories. We're excited to have the writer and director of Boxes, Ebony Rosemond. Later in the show, we will speak with some cast members from the play Boxes. Ebony Rosemond is a poet, playwright, and novelist. Her writing seeks to inspire her readers and audience to reflect on their purpose in life and then transform that purpose into reality. Her plays have been produced in the U.S. and internationally. Ebony speaks Spanish, Portuguese, and Khmer. Thank you for sitting down with us, Ms. Rosemond, and for speaking with us about your theatrical journey.
Thank you for having me.
So I just want to ask, how does writing help you?
I started writing at a very young age, poetry and short stories. I was what you would call bookish.
Okay.
And writing for me was something that I could do on my own and feel heard. As the youngest child, sometimes you don't feel like anything you say is being heard, but when you write, you're the only voice that exists. And so that was very empowering for me.
Okay, and that still stays with you today?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. How could writing help the younger generation?
I think young people are looking to be heard, just as I was. They have opinions that differ from their parents, from their teachers, and I think writing could give them a way to articulate those very clearly and to then hopefully share them with people so that their viewpoint can be at least considered by a large number of people.
Was there ever a teacher that inspired you, or was this something that you just picked up?
I was blessed to have a lot of wonderful teachers. I grew up in Prince George's County Public Schools. I went to elementary school at Glenarden Woods Elementary. One of my favorite teachers was Mrs. Goldfarb. Who else? Miss Wright was a social studies teacher. But I think the biggest gift that my teachers gave me was that they treated my thoughts with respect.
Okay.
Even though I was in elementary school, I thought of myself because my teachers treated me as an intelligent person.
Okay. So they instilled a lot of confidence in you at an early age.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what advice do you have for people who want to write a play?
Get to writing. A lot of people say, oh, I'm going to write this screenplay, or I'm going to write this sitcom, and then you ask them to see it, to read it. Oh, well, I haven't put it down on paper yet.
Do you think that there's a fear associated with that they won't be accepted?
I think that could be a part of it, that maybe it's intimidating. I mean, that's where writer's block comes from, just staring at that blank screen or staring at a blank page. But I think it's twofold. There's a part of it that's just a lack of get up and go, which is why most people in the world aren't living out their dreams, because they just haven't done any sort of committed action towards their dreams. And the other part might be some intimidation. You're starting to judge the quality of your work before it's even finished. How I avoid that is think of it as playing. If you approach it the way a child approaches a drawing, they're not worried about doing it right. They're just having fun.
Have you always had that confidence, or was there some kind of fear that happens before you put something out there?
With everything, it comes and goes.
Okay.
So some days I can sit down at my desk or pull out a pad from my purse when I'm riding on the metro, and I just feel like, wow, I can tell this is going to be awesome. This is really good. And then another time you're trying to write and you're just like, oh God, this is crap. But either way, I keep writing, and that's what makes me a writer.
Okay. In the description for Boxes, it says, ordinary people who let ordinary problems ruin their lives in extraordinary ways. Yeah. And could you give me an example of an ordinary problem?
Oh my God, there's so many. I'll say the relationship between children and their parents, right? So maybe someone feels like they didn't receive unconditional love from their parents, or they didn't get whatever they felt like they needed. And so they interpret that as feeling like, I am unlovable. As a person, I do not deserve to be loved. When in truth, their parents were just doing the best they could. Their parents didn't have a parent handbook, so they made some mistakes. But they loved their child the best way they knew how to. But the way that ordinary problem becomes extraordinary is when they take that hurt feeling and they carry it through all of their relationships for the rest of their lives. So they have a loveless marriage, they don't trust their friends, and they kind of become this lonely person. Okay,
so instead of dealing with it at that moment, or moving on from it, they let it affect them throughout their life. Okay. And what inspired you to write the play Boxes?
I wrote Boxes in 2008. I was living overseas in Trinidad, working for the U.S. Embassy there, and I realized that I was living a resigned life. I had a very respectable, very, I guess, enviable career, and it wasn't thrilling for me, but it's pretty good, and my parents love talking about it at cocktail parties, so I'll just make do with it.
Acceptable.
Right, so I'll make do with it. I'm resigned to this career. And then my relationship at that point in time, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was better than what most of my other girlfriends were whining about, so I'll just deal with it. You get the theme here. So I was living a resigned life, and it just hit me one day that I deserved to live the life of my dreams. Everyone deserves to live the life of their dreams. So I wrote Boxes as kind of a cathartic exercise, and then it just became very urgent to me that as many people as possible see it, because I know that I'm not the only one who's been resigned.
What prevented you from just, you say that writing is a part of you and you are a writer. What prevented you from just pursuing that and going into this amazing career? Why didn't you just stick with writing?
That's a very good question. Just like in Boxes, the ordinary problems that affect your life in extraordinary ways, life happened. I loved writing in college. I was very good at it. But when I graduated, as hard as I looked for it, there was no guaranteed salary paying position for a poet and a novelist. And I had bills, I had a family, so life just kind of took over. And I shouldn't say never, but it took me a while to correct my path.
Do you feel that money does affect what career people choose to go into?
Oh, absolutely. We did this really interesting commercial campaign for Boxes where we asked people the central question of the play. If you knew you were capable of greatness, what would you do tomorrow? And so they answer, I want to be an actress, I want to make movies, I want to teach children, whatever. And then we asked them, well, what would it feel like if you actually did it? And then people have all these amazing responses. Oh, I'd feel free, I'd feel amazing. I feel like I'd fulfilled my purpose in life. And then you ask them, well, why aren't you doing it? And the number one answer is, I can't afford to. I want to go to LA and be a movie star, but I don't have enough money in my bank account for the plane ticket. So there were a lot of reasons, but money was the number one reason people gave.
Are the characters based in the plays? Are they based on people you know personally?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I only know what I know. So the characters are based on me, people that I've met, family.
Okay.
Yes, loosely.
Okay.
Based.
And what was the purpose for the play Boxes?
The purpose of Boxes, as I mentioned, the central question of the play is, if you knew you were capable of greatness, what would you do tomorrow? And when people see the play, my goal is that they really take that question to heart.
Okay.
And then realize that they are capable of greatness, and then actually do something about it.
Okay.
So the purpose of the play is twofold: to get people to acknowledge their greatness and then inspire them to action.
Okay. How would you deal with the problems that the characters are facing?
It's everyone deals with defeat, with despair, with challenges in their own ways. I'd like to say that every time life has knocked me down, I've dusted myself off immediately and put a smile on my face and marched right back out there, but that would be a lie. You know, sometimes you stay in your valley for a little longer than other times. I don't really know how to answer that question. I mean, because I'm not finished yet. You know, I'm still on my journey.
Okay.
So sometimes my solution to problems has been to write, you know, and it might result in a poem or a play.
So you give people, I guess, hope that their journey hasn't ended, that it's not, you know, you may be in this one position, this one box per se, but you give people hope that there is something out there, there is something greater.
Yes, perfectly said.
Okay.
If my work is doing that for people, then I've done my job.
Okay, and how long did it take, did the production for Boxes take?
This 2015 production, we held auditions in November, and the play went up January 8th through the 11th.
Okay, okay. And how does this play help the community?
Well, other than bringing new art to local audiences, I think it helps Bowie and Prince George's County really see what they have in the county. I think when people think of great theater, they think of, you know, New York, DC, and then of course in this area we have the Kennedy Center, we have Studio Theater. But we have a lot right here in Prince George's County. You don't have to leave the county. You don't even have to leave the city of Bowie to see fantastic actors. I mean, just incredibly trained and dedicated actors. There's just a lot right here in the county.
What would you like to bring back to Bowie as a writer, as a novelist, as a poet?
Of course, more productions.
Okay.
I would love for Rose Prose Productions to do at least 4 local productions of new theater per year. And then I'd like to give back to not only youth, but to anyone who wants to do what I do, you know, theater producing, you know, to teach them how, to talk to them about it.
How does this play help individuals dealing with these issues?
I think it gives them a chance to look at their own lives from a different perspective. If someone in the audience is dealing with one of the challenges in the play, single motherhood, alcoholism, fear of growing up and taking on adult responsibilities, it's a chance to see how someone else deals with it. And even if the character in the play, because every scene has different endings, even if the character in the play doesn't necessarily win, it still gives them a chance to look at their own life from a different perspective and hopefully find some new ways to creatively problem solve in their own lives.
Okay, so in this particular scene, could you please explain what these 2 gentlemen are doing and the 2 characters?
Oh yes, so this is William Powell Jr. and Gregory Watkins, and they're in the scene called Stored.
Okay.
Stored is a fictitious storage facility where men are coming to pick up and drop off different phases in life. So in that moment right there, that's Michael McKay. He's just gotten divorced. So he's coming back into the storage facility to pick up his bachelor period of life and then runs off with it. Gregory is about to get married, so he's dropping off his bachelor box, but he's also dropping off the fear of becoming a husband and father and all of the responsibilities that that's going to entail. And then William beautifully plays an older man who's been divorced for some time and isn't sure what he wants. Is he ready to go back to his bachelor life, or?
So every character has a crossroad or a different path in their life. But one last question I want to ask you is, why do some characters succeed and why do others not succeed?
If I knew that, I'd I don't know why some people, and this is funny now, I feel like I'm saying one of the lines from the play. I don't know why some people move up and up so quickly, and I don't. I don't know why some people are able to face difficulties in life.
Easier than others?
Right. I don't know why. I think part of it is that they haven't acknowledged their own greatness, their own capability. I think another reason could be that they are listening to the negative voices in their head as all-knowing voices, as honest voices, when they really aren't. Yes, go ahead.
Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Old school pictures and family photos. And it always takes me a while to remember which one is me. I'm living behind a mask. A grown man mask. People see me as this adult with the real job and responsibilities. And this guy that they see, he's strong and he seems smart and confident. But he doesn't look anything like me. I mean, the way that he looks doesn't match how I feel. I'm not that man. Just a guy that likes.
Can I see?
Mom calls this trash. She says she's gonna put them away if I don't put them up. But I tried now, and I don't have anywhere to put them.
Trash? She called those trash?
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome back. We now have with us some members of the cast of the BYS play. Please introduce yourselves.
Cynthia Rollins.
Gail Carney.
William Powell.
Okay. I'd like to ask you, start off with you, Cynthia, how did you prepare for the role of BYS, your role in BYS?
Well, one of the first things that I did, of course, was to read the entire play. And the roles that I had are roles that are similar roles that we come across in life all of the time. I have a grandson, so I'm accustomed to dealing with young men or males, and so that was really quite easy. And I've never had an experience like I did in the act with the young lady, but you prepare because these are things that you come across in life, and these are the types of people you come across in life, and that's the contribution you make when you try to help them.
Okay. Gail, and you, how did you prepare?
I think I will concur with Cynthia, initially reading the entire script and reading it more than once, several times. And after reading the entire script, then the roles that I was assigned, really digging into those. The role that I did as the mother auctioning the daughter off, that was a little bit of a challenge because I do have 2 daughters, and I'm so opposite of the role that I play. I have some wonderful girls, and they're wonderful. My husband is wonderful with them, and I would not want to see that kind of relationship where I'm trying to usher them out or jealous of the relationship between a father and his daughters. So I had to really dig into that script and then look at just out in life, as Cynthia said, to see other people who really treat their children that way. And then with the counselor, a lot of that I related back to, I had another career before going into acting, and so my desire initially when I went to college was to be a counselor. So kind of digging back into, although I didn't go into counseling, I went into sociology and psychology, so digging back into the studies I had.
Okay, and you, William?
Read the play, read the play, read the play, read your roles, really study the objectives of each character. I play, among other things in the play, an alcoholic and also an older character that mentors a young man in a way. And it was a lot of, for me, just thinking back to the times that have like counseled people I know, and as far as the alcoholic, I think that's a character I think that was really a guy that just about given up on life in a way, and he sort of redeemed himself. And by reading the play over and over again and reading those scenes over and over again, you get to a place where you really dig deep and you kind of see how you relate to this character, and you dig into sense memory. You try to think about what is it about me that I can see in these characters.
Okay, so starting out with you, Cynthia, do you feel that the characters share a common bond?
No, all of the scenes are not directly tied to each other, but there are inferences and things that happen in previous scenes that happen as the scene that follows that kind of reflects on what's going on. But there's not a tie that say I move from this to that to the other.
Gail, and you?
I agree. I mean, there are things that are similar, but for example, the roles that I played, they were each individual roles that could stand alone.
And what about you?
I think Cynthia knocked the question out of the box, really. She said it perfectly, said it better than I could. But yeah, I will say that there is a hint that maybe the young boy in the very first vignette at the beginning of the play, is that the same guy that gets counseled later on by my character? Or, I mean, you could interpret it that, like all great art, it's like you can interpret it any way you want.
Did you bring a part of yourself to this character? Was there some kind of relation? I know earlier you were saying that since you're a grandmother and you have grandchildren, you have a young male grandchild. Did you bring that to your character?
Well, I think I brought some of it to the character simply because she was a loving person, and she understood what that child's problem was, and knew that if she wasn't there to encourage him and to make him feel good, that it wasn't going to happen.
And Gail, the same question for you.
I think with the counselor, and I said this earlier, probably some of my experience in college, I brought that to the counselor. With the auction mother, no, that was so opposite.
How did you deal with that, though? Because I'm curious, you're a loving mom. How do you take that and completely just, take away? Like, how do you have such a loving role? You're a loving mother, a loving wife, and then you're playing someone the complete opposite. How do you get that anger out? How do you show that vindictive trait?
And that's called acting. and as an actress, I think we talked about it earlier, really reading the script and coming up with the objective of the character, and then working from there.
Okay. And you?
You know, there's a scene where I play a guy in an office, and everybody in that office is trying to be upwardly mobile, basically. And then my character is a guy that's like really frowning on people who find their inner passion. There's several characters that they want to be a coach, music teacher, whatever it is. And my character really hates that. And that is so opposite from what I am. I'm the total opposite of that guy, really. So, I mean, like I say, it's just all in the acting. You know, I've been up against that guy in real life, but in this play, I get to play him.
Okay, Cynthia, how would you deal with your character's problems in real life?
In real life, I think in the first scene, Nana did a good job in dealing with her problems, and I think I would do the same thing, because it's your grandchild, it's not your child. And while you're there for support, that child is not with you 24 hours a day. With the mother, it's almost the same thing. You have somebody who's unyielding and who is in this box, doesn't want to get out, and doesn't want anybody to help her to get out. And this is one of the lines I say in the play. I wanted to help, but you don't want to be helped. And so, you know, you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
And what about you, Gail?
I think with the counselor, I think I would have been more understanding and maybe compassionate versus just these are the facts, and somewhat cold towards the young lady who came in. With the mother, I think there I would have been, I think we have to, with our children, we're trying to teach them to be independent and self-sufficient, but we also want to develop in them self-esteem. And so I think we provide that support to them until they can get on their feet without enabling your children. So that's what I would do.
Okay, and William, last question for you.
It's interesting because in the audition, I actually read for the counselor character, and I know Ebony was saying that I played that character sort of compassionately, and she hadn't really seen that before. So I think that I can agree with Gail on that. I would have played that one differently had I been given the opportunity.
Well, thank you all for joining me today.
Thanks.
I would like to thank the cast and Miss Rosemond for joining us today. I can't wait to see the play and what comes next. Please visit www.boxestheplay.com to learn more information about the play. Thank you, and we will see you next time here on BYS.
Well, and now I don't need this box anymore. You know, my fiance took both her hands, placed them on my face. She looked me in my eyes and she said,
"You are a good man. You can provide for our family and you will protect us. You're not a perfect man and I'm not a perfect woman, but we love each other. And I trust you and I will follow you. You will make mistakes that will unintentionally hurt our family. And when that happens, when I'm disappointed and angry and betrayed, I will forgive you because I see what you want. You want for us to be happy, for us to never want for anything. You have excellent intentions,